about why you shouldn't smoke pot when you're 10 years old. I was 10 years old, and I come from a large Italian family, and I'm one of 21 grandchildren. And when I was 10, we started having weddings because the older kids were older and starting to get married. So we started to go to these weddings, which when you're 10 is a pretty kick-ass party. Up to that point, you're going to birthday parties, and you're just eating cake, and you're pinning a tail on a donkey, and once you realize everyone cheats anyway, the luster comes off, and you're like, it's time to move on. But you've got a ways to go before some really good parties come. And then the weddings started kicking in, and we're like, this is good. We're seeing grown-ups, like, wasted, and people are falling over, and we're seeing girls we never saw before. These are good. And we noticed that the older kids who we wanted to hang out with desperately would all sneak out of the wedding with Uncle Al. At some point in the wedding, they just kind of sneak away, and we never got asked. And we were bummed out, because Uncle Al, his nickname was Uncle Al, all the kids' pal. And when you're 10, you think it's just because he's fun to be with. But the older kids were like, no, he's really your pal. And we're like, all right, well, we want to go. Like, how do we, no one's asking us to go. What are they doing? So this wedding came, and we were like, all right, we got to up our game. So we wore our little 10-year-old businessman suits, me and my cousin Kenny, and we had our little Shirley Temples, and we're leaning against the bar. We had combs in our pockets. We were working it and pulling it off. Totally, just Shirley Temple in your hand when you're 10, using the straw. And our cousins, the two older cousins we really admired, were looking at us and they started laughing. And we're like, oh, maybe it's not gonna happen. But then they approached and they're like, hey, you wanna go outside and see Uncle Al? We're like, yeah, we do. They're like, yeah, what do we do? They're like, just go out front and we'll meet you out there and we'll take you over and we'll go see Uncle Al. We're like, all right, cool. And they split and we start walking. And then my aunt comes up and she's like, where are you two going? I mean, she's straighten our little ties. We're like, nowhere. She's like, stay away from your Uncle Al. He'll ruin your life. And we're like, now we really want to go. So we walk outside and they take us to a car, and Uncle Al is sitting in the car, and they get in the car and they don't let us in the car. They roll down the windows and we lean in, their little ties hanging down, and they put the window up to like catch us like we're just stuck in the car. And Uncle Al has weed out on his lap on a magazine. I mean, I'm a man now. I am not 10. I am a man. I have seen weed. I went to college. I used to see dead shows. I've seen weed. I'm a man. But to this day, I never saw one person have a bud that was so big as what Uncle Al had on his lap at his niece's wedding. And we didn't even know it was weed. He just started breaking it up. We thought they were just gonna like smoke a cigarette. We didn't know that was badass enough if you were to just smoke anything. So he rolls it up and they start smoking it, and then we're stuck in the window. They just start blowing it in our faces like we're a pet. Like, you ever get a pet high and you just blow it in their face and it kind of... We were the pets in our little suits, and they just blowing it on us. And we don't know we're getting high. We're just trying to be cool and like, okay, I guess this is what you do with Uncle Al. And they're done, they roll down the window and we kind of fall out and they come out. And I remember it was windy and Uncle Al's bald except for the side hair. And the wind is blowing and his hair's all out like this. And he just starts going, look at me, I'm Bozo the Clown. I'm Bozo. He just starts dancing around. And we're like, this is why everyone loves Uncle Al. He's a clown. He's amazing. So like, all right, well, you guys can't walk in with us. You guys got to go around the back. Be cool. We're like, all right, we'll be cool. And they walk in, and we walk around the back. And as soon as we walk around the back, we're lost because we're high and we're 10. We don't even remember there's a wedding we have to get back to. We're just wandering in our little businessman attire. And we come around the back, there's like a golf course there, and there's these little woods, like little woods in New Jersey, probably 3 trees, but woods. And there's a deer. There's a deer just sitting there eating the grass. And if you've ever been high in nature, you feel, for some reason, like you're one with nature. Like it speaks to you, whatever it is, a rock or an animal. And this deer just kind of looked at us, and we looked at the deer, and then we looked at each other and made the decision of what 2 10-year-old kids in Jersey would decide, which is, we've got to catch it. Now, if you're a man and you're in your business attire, you don't just run into the woods. Even if it was something great. If it was a bag of money, you were like, let's change, and then we'll go back and run into the woods. But when you're 10, you just start running in your businessman suit. And the deer took off and went into the woods, and we're in the woods, and we're laughing. Now we're this is the first time ever. 10? First of all, everything's funny when you're 10. Then get Uncle Al's crazy weed on top. And now you're chasing a deer in the jungle. We're just laughing our asses off. We go running in there, the deer's like running, and I turn to my cousin, I'm like, Kenny, at what point, if we catch it, what do we do with it? And he just looks at me like crazy, like in his crazy eyes. He goes, we're gonna eat it. And that's a disturbing thing to hear your cousin say. So we don't have tools, we don't have cooking, we have nothing, no weapons. His idea is we're just gonna start biting it like another animal. But I couldn't even focus on that because I look over at the deer. The deer, it's like a New Jersey deer that just heard what we were saying. And he's stopped now and looking at us like, what did you say? You gonna eat me? And he takes a step towards us. We're like laughing, we take a step back. Then he takes 2 steps towards us, and we take 2 more steps back. And all of a sudden, there's like that moment where you know you're under attack. And we just start, we're laughing. Remember when you were a kid, you would be so filled with joy sometimes, with laughter, that your legs physically don't work. That doesn't happen as an adult. You never laugh so hard that you can't even. So picture 2 little lawyers. Just. So he's picking up speed. We gotta get out of here. And I'm starting to get a little further than Kenny, and then I hear Kenny let out a scream, like there's a reason they put 10-year-old boys in the choir. Because they can hit a volume and a pitch that only angels can hit. It's higher than girls. It's just, so much higher than I can even do it. In the woods, and I hear that scream. It's fear, and it's just like death and angelic, and I'm laughing, and I turn back, and I'm not kidding, the deer is up on its back legs, like a man. It is chasing us like a man. I come in with my scream. Our suits are little businessman suits. And this thing is just coming at us. Like, you're not eating me. We just gotta get out of the woods. We just gotta get the hell out of the woods. And we kind of make our way. It's like he could have attacked us, but in his head, if I could read a deer's mind, which when I was that high, I kind of did. He was like, I'm just gonna scare these little guys. These are the smallest businessmen I've ever seen. I don't even know why they're in the woods, but I'm just gonna do the back leg thing and get them out of here. So we make our way out of the woods. We're crawling, we're mud covered, we're crying. We're not laughing anymore, we're crying. We're lost. And we see up, there's the windows of the party, of the wedding. And we come up and we're just so out of, we are wrecked. I don't know what, I don't know I'm high, but I know this is a weird day. This is a day I'm gonna remember. I don't know what they blew in our faces, but I don't wanna be at a wedding. I don't wanna be a businessman. I don't wanna hunt deer with my face. And we see Uncle Al, he's in there in the middle of all the parents, and he's telling some animated story, and they're all looking really pissed off, and he's laughing with his bozo hair. And we're like, we got to sit down and catch our breath. And we sit on these lounge chairs, we're just like, we are wrecked. And all of a sudden my aunt, the same aunt, comes. I remember the sky was blue, and then we were just finally chilling out. It was just peaceful for a minute, and then her face just came in the middle of that scene and went, "What did I tell you? Your uncle's in there ruining your life." And we never got high again until we were 11. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.